A million-mile odometer isn't luck, it's discipline on repeat. Engines don't die, habits kill them slowly. But that's not all. The worst damage happens when nothing looks wrong yet. Quiet failure is everywhere. You're about to learn 13 field-tested secrets that make cars last absurdly long. Habits that slice wear, stop hidden corrosion, and keep computers honest so the whole system runs easier. It gets worse. The costliest myth on the road is lifetime fluid, and we'll expose why that phrase quietly empties wallets while transmissions cook. Stay to the end and you'll know exactly which small routines return the biggest years and miles. Reliability is repeatable. Tip number 1, 30-second warm-up rule. Cold engines don't need long idles. They need circulation. On frosty starts, fuel is rich, clearances are tight, and oil is thick, so metal-on-metal scuffing is easiest right now. But that's not all. Long idling dumps raw fuel onto cylinder walls, washing away the oil film that protects rings and bores. That turns into early oil consumption, lazy throttle, and overworked catalytic converters. Fuel wash eats protection. The smarter move is heat under light load. Oil pressure rises, parts expand to spec, and condensation burns off quickly without soaking the exhaust in unburned fuel. You'll feel cleaner shifts, steadier idle, and fewer cold start rattles as the habit compounds. Protect cold starts. Idle 30 seconds, then drive gently for 5 minutes. Faster warm-up, less wear. Win-win. Tip number 2, acid flush protocol. Coolant. Coolant is a bodyguard, not just a thermometer. Its inhibitors break down with time, quietly turning protective fluid into a corrosive brew that targets radiators, heater cores, pumps, and gaskets. It gets worse. Aluminum erosion invites electrolysis, sending stray voltage through the cooling system and causing mysterious overheating, pinhole leaks, and repeat part failures that masquerade as bad thermostats. Hidden chemistry, visible carnage. The cure is rhythm, not reaction. Fresh, spec-correct coolant restores pH balance, shields mixed metals, and stabilizes pressure caps so boiling margins stay wide. Fresh coolant saves engines. Flush with the correct coolant every 3 years, 30,000 miles, and bleed thoroughly. Stable temps, protected metals, bulletproof. Tip number 3, MAF Sensor Cleanse. Your engine breathes through a single truth teller, the mass airflow sensor. When its film gets dusty, the ECU misjudges airflow, trims swing rich or lean, and drivability suffers in ways that mimic bad injectors or O2 sensors. But listen to this. A $7 million safe spray and 10 quiet minutes often erase hesitation, rough idle, stalling, and premature catalytic converter loading caused by overfueling. Clean air data, clean combustion, never touch the element, never use carb cleaner. Residue ruins calibration and ends in ghost codes. After cleaning, you'll notice quicker tip-in, steadier fuel economy, and fewer long-term corrections as the ECU trusts the signal again. Small can, big change. Clean the MAF every 10,000 miles with MAF-specific spray only. Smoother trims, happier cats. Done. Tip number 4, transmission time bomb. Lifetime fluid usually means until the warranty ends. Automatic transmission fluid shears, oxidizes, and loads up with clutch material that turns shifts mushy and heat brutal. Heat is the killer. It gets worse. That burnt toast smell is dissolved friction plates. Keep driving and valves stick, solenoids hunt, and line pressure can't save slipping clutches. A $90 service becomes a $3,000 rebuild. Fresh, spec-correct ATF restores friction characteristics, cleans passages, and carries heat away so the cooler can actually cool. Clean fluid, crisp shifts. Skip universal fluids and high-pressure flushes that can dislodge debris into tiny valves. Do a measured drain and fill or machine exchange with the exact OEM spec. Confirm temperature-based fill procedures on sealed units. Precision matters. Change ATF every 30,000 to 50,000 miles. Sooner for towing or traffic. Correct fluid, correct level, verified temps. Shifts saved. Tip number 5, napkin filter effect. Oil filter quality. A bargain oil filter is like a napkin as a coffee filter. Grit gets through. Inside cheap cans, you'll find cardboard end caps, flimsy media, weak anti-drainback valves, and bypass settings that quit early. Dirty oil circulates everywhere, but that's not all. On turbo engines, that grit sands bearings at 100,000 RPM shaft speeds. On any engine, it scores journals, clogs lifters, and collapses oil pressure at idle. Quiet damage becomes loud repairs. Quality filters. OEM, Wix, Bosch, Mobil 1 use stable media, metal caps, reliable valves, and tighter efficiency down to finer micron sizes. Clean oil, steady pressure. Cut one open and you'll never go cheap again. Choose a premium filter every change, verify the gasket, torque properly, and pre-oil the seal. Filtration first, failures last. Protect the bearings. Tip number 6, one-click rule of fueling. rounding up the pump is rounding down your evap system. When the nozzle clicks, the tank volume and vapor space are at balance. Topping off forces liquid fuel into the charcoal canister designed only for vapor. The reason this is happening is the recovery system thinks you're done and starts pulling vapor. Then you feed it liquid. Saturated charcoal can't store vapors, so you get rough fills, fuel smells, check engine lights, and codes like P0440/P0455/P0456. Small habit, big bills. A flooded canister can also spike tank pressure, confuse purge flow, and fail emissions tests you thought were automatic. Stop at the first click, reinstall the cap snugly, and let the purge system do its job. Vapor space matters. Stop at the first click, don't top off, and keep the evap system healthy. Cheap fix, restraint. If this is helping you dodge expensive mistakes, tap like and subscribe so these habits stay on your radar. But that's not all. Drop your car, engine, and mileage goal in the comments, and I'll reply with tailored intervals plus one high-impact habit. Tip number 7. Garbage in, failure out. Use OEM sensors. Why do fixed misfires return after a bargain sensor swap? Because the ECU is only as smart as the signal it receives, and cheap sensors lie. Cam and crank sensors with sloppy thresholds, O2 sensors with lazy response, or off-brand throttle sensors that drift will make trims chase ghosts and timing scatter under load. But listen to this. The ECU trusts voltage windows and response times engineered to the millisecond. Out-of-spec parts can be in range, yet wrong enough to trigger stalling, random codes, and converter damage from chronic overfueling. Bad data kills good engines. Stick to OEM or top-tier OEM equivalent electronics for anything feeding the ECU, especially on modern direct injection and turbo cars. Save money elsewhere. Buy OEM spec sensors, clear adaptations, road test under load, and enjoy stable trims and timing. Reliable data, reliable drivability. Signal matters. Tip number 8. Tire swap ritual. Rotate on rhythm. You don't see tires wearing, you feel the vibration later, and pay for it. Fronts on FWD cars steer, drive, and brake, so they wear nearly twice as fast as rears, and once cupping or feathering starts, shocks, struts, and bushings get hammered. But that's not all. Uneven circumference forces the differential to work constantly on straight roads, adds heat, and can even wake ABS traction lights when wheel speeds disagree. Small neglect, big cascade. Rotation evens the load, keeps noise low, and stretches a $600 to $1,200 set into long, quiet miles. Directional or staggered setups need front to rear only. Standard sets use rearward cross patterns. Pressure is free performance. Rotate every oil change approximately 5,000 miles. Set pressures cold and align annually or at the first pull or shimmy. Double tread life, calmer suspension, smooth winds. Tip number 9. Car brain relearn rule. You bolt in a new throttle body or battery and the idle gets worse. That's not failure, that's memory. Modern ECUs store learned airflow, idle trims, and charging profiles, so fresh parts can clash with old adaptations and trigger stalling, limp mode, or no-start headaches. The reason this is happening is the computer is still commanding yesterday's values. Wrong blade angle, wrong target idle, wrong alternator strategy for a different battery. Some cars need pedal idle dances, others demand a scan tool procedure or battery registration, common on BMWs and Fords. Nissans often require throttle position and idle volume learns. Many GM engines need a crank variation relearn after sensor work. Tell the computer. After replacing airflow, ignition, or battery components, perform the factory relearn or registration and complete a proper drive cycle. Clean slate, clean results. Reset wins. Tip number 10. Winter rust washdown method. Salt doesn't just rust, it infiltrates. Slush throws brine into seams, frame rails, brake and fuel lines, and under body mounts where it wicks moisture and chews from the inside out. Hidden rust is the expensive kind. It gets worse. Corrosion creeps under coatings, pops paint from the backside, and weakens brake lines that look fine, until they burst during a hard stop. Exhaust hangers, subframes, and control arm pockets go next, and by the time you notice, repairs outrun the car's value. Clean metal survives. Aim a wide fan spray at pinch welds, rear axle pockets, cradle mounts, spring perches, and behind splash shields. Let it drip dry, then top with a lanolin or wax-based protectant before winter. Quiet prevention beats loud failure. Wash the undercarriage every 2 to 3 weeks in winter and after storms or long highway runs. Recoat annually. Salt out, longevity in. Tip number 11. Injector bomb cleanse. Engines lose sharpness slowly. Carbon narrows injector nozzles, varnish gums intake valves, and combustion chambers hotspot. Throttle feels lazy, MPG fades, and knocks creep in. But listen to this. A strong detergent dose can restore spray patterns and trims in a single tank, especially on direct injection engines that never wash their valves with fuel. Light deposits steal power, heavy deposits break parts. Use proven chemistry, not bargain water. Chevron Techron, Concentrate Plus, Redline SI1, or Liqui Moly Jectron are standouts with real detergency. Dose correctly, run the tank low, and drive a steady highway stint to keep temps up and cleaners working. Cleaner burn, cooler parts. If buildup is advanced, follow with a professional intake service or walnut blast on DI engines. Dose a proven cleaner every 6 months, ideally right before an oil change. Sharp again. Tip number 12. Fix small leaks. Early. One drop today is tomorrow's tow bill. Oil leaks starve bearings, coolant leaks warp heads, and transmission leaks turn crisp shifts into slip and cook failures. Fluids are lifelines. The reason this is happening is pressure relies on volume. Every drip lowers the safety margin, raises temps, and invites aeration that destroys lubrication. Tiny leaks also attract dirt, forming abrasive paste that accelerates wear around seals and pulleys. Small becomes big, fast. Get methodical. Slide cardboard under the car overnight, trace location and color, and sniff. Coolant sweet, ATF sharp, oil earthy. UV dye and a cheap inspection mirror make sources obvious. Fixes are often simple: clamps, O-rings, gaskets, hoses. Waiting isn't saving. Inspect for leaks monthly. Verify levels weekly if you spot one. Trace with UV dye, and repair immediately before heat and pressure multiply damage. Stop the drip. Tip number 13, 5K oil rule. Stretching oil intervals looks cheap until sludge sends the bill. Oil doesn't just disappear. It oxidizes, shears, and loads with fuel and moisture, turning from slippery guardian into sticky grit that clogs tiny galleries and collapses hydraulic lifters. It gets crazier. Direct injection and turbo engines hammer oil harder. Hotter bearings, finer passages, higher shearing, and fuel dilution that thins viscosity while leaving soot behind. That's a double hit. Thinner film, dirtier film. You feel it as noisy starts, lazy VVT response, and rising consumption that masks wear until pressure drops. Clean oil keeps timing actuators sharp, rings sealed, and turbos alive. Your cheapest rebuild prevention is a calendar. Change oil and a premium filter every 5,000 miles or less, track it in a log, and sample occasionally if you're curious. Quiet valve train, healthy pressure, small habit, huge lifespan. Engines don't live long by luck, they live long by rhythm. The drivers who win stack small, boring habits that starve heat, corrosion, and friction of every advantage. Keep these 13 tips on repeat and your odometer stops being a countdown. It becomes a scoreboard. Next, let's supercharge reliability with the exact reset rituals and additive picks that actually move the needle, and how to spot snake oil in 10 seconds flat. Your car can age in reverse. Click into the next deep dive and lock the gains in. Not professional advice. Consult a qualified expert as needed.